So today I'm going to talk about another microphone system, and as you're probably aware by now, it's really makes a big difference when you use external recording devices of any kind, whether it's just the microphone system or recording device, etc. But you know, what's better than having a microphone system is a dual microphone system, and that's what I'll be looking at today. So full disclosure, Comica sent this out to me for free in exchange for a video review, and I'm always happy to do that whenever I think it's a quality product or presents some kind of good value for my viewers on my channel. And this is actually a device that I've had in my wish list on Amazon for a long time, and when Comica offered to send this out to me, I said, oh absolutely, you know, I got to check this out. Basically, this is a dual microphone system, so you can do like interview type style corporate videos where you have two people talking and they each have their own microphone system, and then you have a single receiver that receives both signals into the camera and records them onto the same audio track. So it came in this really nice little carry case here. You know, zippers open, and inside is a lot of good padding where you can pack all your devices, and you can see the system is pretty compact. But underneath here, they've also included a little mini tripod and a couple of these fuzzy things, and there's some extra storage space here where I keep some batteries and stuff. And they also gave me this little ball head, and I'll show how all this comes together here later in the video. And then the cables and the microphones, of course. But yeah, it's nice. All right, so let me just start with the basics. You know, you get the receiver and the two transmitters, and they also included some belt clips. You know, usually I just put these in my pocket, but what I really like about this system is there's physical buttons all around for everything. You don't have to dive into a menu to get to any setting. If I want to change the channel, if I want to change which microphone I'm recording from, or if I want to do both at the same time, there's a switch for that. There's also actually physical dials here to adjust the output levels either to the camera and or to the headphone set. So you can also use headphones at the same time. So if your camera has a mic jack but no headphone jack, when you add a external receiver like this, you can monitor the audio in real time right in the field. And the other thing that's nice about this system is it uses standard AAA batteries. And you know, because a lot of these systems nowadays, they have their own proprietary lithium batteries, which after, you know, with heavy use, after a couple of years, they're gone, and good luck getting those replaced, right? They always say they're going to have a battery replacement program, but I don't know anyone that's ever done that in real life. Maybe you have, but I wouldn't bother, to be honest. So I like the fact that it just uses AAA batteries. And then if your batteries are weak or you forget your batteries, you can also power it via this USB-C port from a power bank to give you even more life. Now, speaking of battery life, I used this for about 4 hours. And these are 2,000 milliamp batteries, and it drained off about 650 milliamps off each one after about 4 hours in any of these devices. So if I had to guesstimate, I'd say you probably get 8 to 10 hours total, but Comica themselves, they claim only 4 hours of battery life, and I don't know what they base that on, but I was able to test these after 4 hours of use, and I saw that it drained around 650 milliamps out of these 2,000 milliamp batteries. And these are, you know, rechargeable batteries that I use. The other nice thing is the receiver part has 3 quarter-20 jacks on it. There's one on each side, and then there's one here near the bottom. So you can mount this onto almost any rig in any fashion that you need to make it work the way you want. And the transmitters themselves, they have their own quarter-20 thread, which I guess if you're going to be mounting this onto something, a boom mic setup, you could easily mount this via the quarter-20 thread together with the boom mic. So it's pretty handy to have all of these features right in. Now, the receiver also has a Comes with a belt clips with it separately that, you know, attach, but they're included in the bag here. And let's see what else I got. The other thing is it has these LED lights on here, which I'll show you in a minute, but it has a little LCD screen on the receiver here and on each transmitter. And on the receiver, I can see the signal strength coming from each transmitter. I can see the audio levels from each transmitter. And I can see what channel each transmitter is on, and I can see the battery life. So everything, I can even see the volume levels from 0 to 9 coming from each transmitter, or as you adjust here on the dials. So everything you need to know is right here on this little 1-inch LCD display. And that's really helpful, again, when you're out in the field. I've been using these transmitter receiver setup, this mic system, for the last several videos that I made for my tutorials. So you can check those for the sound quality. I mean, I'm not really a sound guy, so the sound quality, you could give me like the $2,000 mic system and I'd probably get bad audio out of it. But this is as good as anything I've ever used. And I have a $300 wireless mic system that I'm using now, together with this Rode video mic. This microphone alone is like $70. This whole system together, I think right now is like for $239 on Amazon US, which is really a bargain considering everything they've included here. You know, there are other dual wireless mic systems on the market that are bigger and use different batteries. Some have, you know, proprietary batteries in them. Some of them just use standard AA batteries. But they also have external antennas. So that's the other thing I like about this, is all the antennas are internal. So I'm not worried about breaking them. Like I said, I like to stack these up in my bag like this, you know, flush in my bag, and stick them in. And you know, my other mic systems that I'm using now actually has an external antenna that sometimes I remove because I'm worried about it breaking when it's in my bag, and I don't have to worry about that with these. So I went out to my nephew's house and we just did a little short interview, because that's what these are kind of designed for, right, is to do an interview type style. But I was doing it out in the backyard where there's a lot of cicadas and crickets and things, so there's still a lot of ambient noise, but I wanted to give you an idea of the quality you get when you actually use it in real life. And then I did some distance testing, and then I did some testing with a cell phone that I'll talk about after we look at the video on out in the field. So tell me a little bit about what it's like to live with all these animals. Like, what do you do? Do you take care of them, or do you?
Well, on a daily basis, I usually take care of the horse. I walk out and take care of the chickens, give them food and water. I take care of one of the little dogs. They named it my little dog, Cookie. And the other 4 dogs are usually taken care of by their owners. They're my favorite.
Each person has their own dog, right?
Yeah.
How far away do you think we are from the camera?
Hard to say. I am and always will be bad at measurement from eye, but I'd say about 10 meters, somewhere around there. Yeah, that's about right, 10 meters. That's good. Now, why did you choose meters over, say, feet? I'm just used to measuring with meters. I've never been good with feet. It's a bit too precise.
All right, so I'm going to walk towards the barn. It's about 100 meters and see what kind of range we get. And again, these kind of microphones, generally, this is a UHF system. You do need a good line of sight to get a good signal. But I'm just curious to see what the range, I can't remember what the spec said this is to be, but I'm going to go about 100 out here. And I'm facing, is it dropping out? I imagine it would be at this range, but if it's not, all the better. I mean, generally speaking, you're not going to be this far away when you're doing interviews and things, but I can see where there would be a need for microphones that can reach this kind of distance for some creative purposes. Now let's talk about a couple little details first, and that is the mic inputs on these are your standard 3.5 millimeter TRRS type jack. So it has like the 2 rings on the male pin, But the receiver is a TRRS plug on the output and TRS on the headphones. So you can put standard TRS headphones in these. And again, that's the one with the 2 rings, but the TRRS has 3 rings on it. And that's so you can plug this directly into a cell phone. And like I said about the physical buttons, this has a little physical button on the front that you can use a TRRS plug with your camera or a cell phone. All you have to do is switch the little switch here between the camera icon and the cell phone icon. You don't have to use a different cable. You can use a standard TRRS cable and just switch it here if it's going to go on a camera or if you're going to put it on a cell phone. And that brings me to the one thing I don't like about this system, actually. As much as I like that part, is the TRRS cable that came with it. This is pretty weak, so I ordered a couple more just because this just didn't really give me a lot of confidence. It just felt a little thin and flimsy, and I feel like you know, it's gonna break. I don't know. I mean, it seems fine, and it hasn't failed on me, but I bought a couple extra TRRS plugs just to keep extra ones in the bag, etc. The other thing that's nice about this, it has a physical clamp built right, and you can remove these, but it has a little clamp on here so that you can mount your cell phone directly to it. And these kind of come out like this, so it'll grab onto your phone. And this is a Samsung Galaxy S9, and I have like a little Armor All case on it. And I'll just adjust this out. I guess this will hold it like a Note 10 even. And then just clamp it down like this, so it's you know, it holds the phone just fine. And then I'll put this in here, and then I'll plug this down here on the bottom. And it comes with the tripod and a little ball head. I just wanted to mount this on for you so you can see. But now, and then I'll put this in my pocket with the lav mic, right? And now I can just vlog like this, no problem. And then if we're sitting down at a table or something, I can set it down and then just adjust the little mini ball head to whatever position I want, and then set up an interview type style when we're out in the field, say at a restaurant or a dining area or a picnic area, what have you. So let's go outside again, but with this setup. I set up my Galaxy S9 just like this. Okay, so I'm just doing a quick test here outdoors, hand holding the cell phone on this little tripod they provided. And you know, just give you an idea of how this sounds outdoors. Now, let me go ahead and walk a little bit towards the back of the yard here. And I'm going to disconnect the microphone so you can hear it, what the phone's regular in-camera microphone sounds like. And as I'm sure, when I go back and listen to this, the audio quality is not going to be anywhere near as good as when I have it directly hooked up to the lavalier mic here. So let me plug this back in. See, I don't have to wait long before a helicopter comes out. And you guys can probably hear that already. Now we should be recording with the phone's internal mics, and as you can tell, there's going to be a big difference, guaranteed. One last thing I'm going to show you is I have my car here. I'm just going to set up the phone here. Now I have the phone set up so I can just simply record without holding the phone, and or camera for that matter. And as I walk away, you can see that the audio quality doesn't change at all, right? My voice level should be very constant. But let me show you what this sounds like when I unplug this. So now I've unplugged the microphone, and at this point the audio is going to be pretty bad because I'm not close to the phone anymore, especially when I start to walk away. And if I had a dual microphone set up with me now. So I plugged the microphone back in, and I think, you know, this could have a lot of value for people, especially with the dual microphone setup. When you're out with your friends or you're doing an interview and you just want to use your cell phone, you can do that with something like this. Okay, and one more thing, and I keep doing this. I feel like Columbo. You ever watch Columbo and he's always like, oh, just one more thing, right? At those videos, I guess I'm showing my age, but I love Columbo. Anyhow, one other thing you can do is you put one of these transmitters in your pocket or on your belt, and then you take the other transmitter and you just plug in a little short microphone like this. You'll have to get this separately. I just had this Olympus one laying around. But then you can walk around and do interviews at an event like this. You know, talk to the person, and then you don't have to bring the mic back to yourself and miss any of the words between you and the other person. You can keep the microphone there while you're talking and they're talking at the same time. So this is kind of a neat way to do a dual microphone setup. It doesn't have to be with a lavalier mic.